Okay, mitzvah lecha tzich and peah. This week's parsha actually interesting. The sandwich between the mayadim. So Rashi says that's because if someone does this distribution to the poor people properly, it's like building the base of Mikdash and to bring his karbanis. I mean, what's the significance to building the base of Mikdash? He gave tzedakah to the poor, and karbanis. What's it to do with karbanis? And why isn't it in Parashas Vayikra where he talks about the karbanis? What is this leka tzich and peah? Yeah, like it. You drop something. Whatever you drop, don't pick it up. Shikha, I forgot a sheaf. Don't go back and get it. Peah, you leave it for the poor. Now, if you think about all these three, common is you're doing nothing. You're being passive. You left it. You're not going back for it. Peah, you designated. Don't touch. And that's like building the base of Mikdash. What's the biggest mitzvah you could think of? You would think maybe you should override Shabbos, build the base of Mikdash. No. Shabbos you got to keep. Don't build the base of Mikdash. But in your mind, build the base of Mikdash is the greatest thing possible. And what's the tzedakah of these people? Like building the base of Mikdash. Nishna them, it's like what the purpose of the building is. Karbanis. What's carbon? Miskarv to Baruch Shalom. You're putting your blood on the Mizbeach. You're coming close to Baruch Shalom. That's the hype. And when? In the Mayadim. What's Mayadim? Mergifta always to say, Mayad is Vad, meeting. What's the greatest time? Yom Tov. You're coming to Baruch Shalom. You're meeting with him. And that's all these mitzvahs of tzedakah, which again, passive for the poor man. The Torah showing it has the connection to these Beis Mikdash, Kabbanis, Mayadim. It's unbelievable. That's what you're doing for the poor man. Imagine what we're accomplishing. It's Narvayim. Nishna them. Sefer Chinuch says in Mitzvah Kuv Chav Dalet, Malika. You do Malika. You take a carbon, the guy takes the carbon, the bird, he sticks his thumb in the neck. That's the form of shechita for the bird. So Sefer Chinuch makes a few suggestions like, what's the pshat in Malika? Where do you learn from that? We'd like to learn from the Torah's mitzvahs. You're helping the poor man. Helping the poor man? Yeah. He said, you're saving him time. Saving him time. Go get a knife, shecht it. No knife, no time. Malika. So much, don't take the whole head off. It's not designed for him. And you don't have to turn the neck around. How much are you saving the poor man? Seconds. The poor man, he's got to go back to work. The man's mutchatzach. Help the poor man. They're covered. What we see, this is what we do for the poor man. It's narvayim. As you see that the chashivas that you have, and what the hana that you give the poor man, we tend to forget the chashivas, this mamish Sefira, that we're living in these times of what we say that the Tamir Mekiva loy naga covers elazeh. They didn't give cover to each other. Chas v'shalom, they abused anybody. Chas v'shalom, they disgraced anybody. It doesn't say that at all. All it says loy naga covers elazeh, which means Mashiach Baruch Saraskin said, the Gemara says, Yud Beis Elav Zugas Talmidim. There was 12,000 pairs, 12,000 chavrusas. I have a chavrusa. We're learning. I didn't even notice the guy next to me. I pushed with my chavrusa. At that time, I didn't know. That's a chesaron by the greatest people of all. Kivus Talmidim. You don't notice somebody. Meaning, covet doesn't. Maybe I can get you something. You need something after step. Just take note of the person. But they were so dovik with the chavusas, and that's a chesaron for the madrega. But it's for us teaching us covet for somebody else. How many times we have? Now we said, you see by Gedolei Ador, Ramosha of Shach, Rebbes, people that were so involved with Hasmodas HaTorah, as soon as they came to covet for somebody else, their attention to that person was like uman. I always say over the story of Moshe, he was walking to his car. I saw my own eyes of Moshe learning. Between Ben Gavra and Gavra, he was ready learning Mishnayos. He's rolling up his tefillin, he's learning Mishnayos. The man didn't waste a second. As soon as it came to someone else, a kid wanted to take a picture of him. He's walking to his car. He stopped. He could take a picture. Now, he got into the car and tells the driver, no, I have to get back out. The guy fumbled the camera. How do you tell somebody fumbling a camera how far away you're from him? He focused on the person's needs, and he had to give it to that person. I am going to the Torah meeting now. I can't. This kid needs it now. Good story after story. Rav Shach's famous story is with the widow where he heard about the Nebuch lost his wife after married 60 years, and the guy was tzebrach, and Rav Shach went to the person, and he started doing therapy with him. He said, I'm an old man, I lost my wife, maybe you can help me, I'll help you. Or they say he brought cholent every Shabbos. What? Why? They said, it didn't detract from these godless of these people, if I can. It made him bigger. Why? Because the Chofetz Chaim says in Avas Chesed, Yira Isai, Av Isai, Ladafka. Look it up. You'll see that each one of those phrases in Parashas Eikev has next to it V'alachta b'drachav, v'alachta b'chol drachav. That means you have to go in all of Hashem's ways to attain these levels of Avad Dveikus. And what's Hashem's ways? Erech Hapayim, Noisi Avim, Dviech Meitiv. Because when you learn Torah, you become one with Hashem. And therefore, it enhances the person. Tamid Kiva Lafida Madrega, they couldn't notice the next person. In a certain sense, they'll miss that yachas. So Byron says you have to be Meister Torah, you have to pass on the next generation, you have to be moved aside. But you see that the lessons is, and that's many times also, the Naga covers them as simple things. There's another Yid, just say good morning to him. Good morning, good Shabbos. Shabbos people say many times, but good morning. Take note of somebody else. I can call somebody up if someone needs something. Just being noticing and giving just simple cover to someone else, that already enhances us, and it shows us with the poor man how much we, by having covered for him, doing for him is building a Beis HaMikdash. I mean, that's what we're living through. So to call it Sinas Chinam is the destruction of Beis HaMikdash. If we can create a situation where we're able to have that covered, we emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Torah does. We bring ourselves one, and the other Yid is the same Amanivchar. Many times you see, we'll try to run after the person to Mekarev, to make him Baal Tshuva, but the guy next to me is already from, not Chas v'Shalom, but we don't focus. He might feel good too if I say a good word. How much more we can accomplish if we're able to use that concept. People walk out. We don't have Milchamar with our shul. Now we try to do. I don't say the word. But there's other shuls. You see people running out. The Rav's getting up to say a word. Let him say a word. 2 minutes. You give the cover to the shul, to the people. There's so much areas where we can just improve in this little thing which makes other people, they'll feel like $1 million. You call somebody, you missed him in shul, the guy feels like, oh, you noticed I was missing? It enhances that person for a little something. Rabbi Pam, the same way the Kamaisi, he was in shul, and somebody's a kohen, so somebody was sick and he couldn't visit him in hospital, so he wrote him a note. Took him a minute and a half. Shalom Barucha, Shlema, miss you. And then he found out afterwards that this man lived on that note. He said every time somebody came to him in the hospital, he said, I got a letter from Rapam. Rapam, when he heard that, he started to cry. I didn't realize the impact, how he could do something for so little and so easy, how it impacted that person, how he lived on that letter that gave him chiyas for 6 more months. Sometimes we could do something that can impact somebody else. That's for us, for the taking. It's a gewaldig zman of Sefira, which we can come to. Vayichan Yisrael, neged the heart, ish echad, belev echad. They all came as one, united, all to mekabel the heilige Torah, and to have through this of the Memches Dvarim Shetorah Niktas, which is one, is nice about Chaveira. These type of ideas can enhance our gewaldig Kabbalah Torah.